A new study confirmed that those Russian bots from 2016 election, they had no impact on the election at all. Now, look, I don't care how many times we say this. We're going to do this show, and we're going to get all these commenters about, I don't care if you prove it to them. These folks proved it to them that they said, look, this is ridiculous. There is no connection here. This was a study that was done by New York University, liberal university. Liberals did this study, and they come out and say what?
The amount of people who even saw these things that these bots were putting out was so small that there is no way, they said it was statistically insignificant, that it would have had any impact at all on the 2016 election. And just to your point about, this New York University, the center that put this together, we have interviewed people from there on Ring of Fire over the years multiple times.
They're great. It's a great source of information. They're progressive. They call it like they see it. It's like The Intercept, isn't it?
And they also say, listen, nobody's saying the bots didn't exist. The bots were real. Russia did do this, but they were so pathetic and incompetent with it that it had no bearing on the election. It served less than 1% of the population on those outlets, and it was only targeted towards people who were already going to vote for Trump anyway.
Okay, so where does all this land? Okay, first of all, this was a great opportunity for Hillary to say, I didn't lose because I was a bad candidate. I lost because Russia spent $175,000 on bad media for us. Okay, Podesta, that idiot who was her campaign manager in Moak, they said, we finally have a reason that we can explain why we lost to this nincompoop, Trump. How in the world do you lose to Trump? They had to have a reason. This was it. Media, Rachel Maddow used to do, we had a show together on Air America.
Yeah.
I have huge respect for her. She's a brilliant woman. But she bought into this hook, line, and sinker. Her producers, the people that were doing her research for every day, it was like there was a Russian behind every tree. The Russians were coming to overtake us. The bots are here. Democracy can't live. And I'm watching Rachel. I'm going, what the hell? You know better than this. She's a Rhodes Scholar. She knew this was nonsense. But MSNBC, CNN bought into it really in a big way because it's a good story. Everybody's afraid of the Russians coming. But we saw this hysteria develop that ultimately ended up into a Cold War with Russia. I mean, it's de facto Cold War. Yeah. When you have CNN and MSNBC every night saying the Russians caused such panic that Hillary lost.
And when you look at Trump out there still saying, the 2020 election was stolen, and we all laugh at that and mock it. No, it wasn't. You're a sore loser.
Yeah,
it's no different than what they were saying after 2016, and we have to treat it
the same way.
Exactly.
We have to, when these idiot Republicans talk about stolen elections, we have to say, you're an idiot. There's no sign that it was stolen. You have to do the same thing here, especially when you have the empirical data that shows it. We're still going to have people that will be commenting on this show. They can't help themselves. They're single-minded. They don't want to open their mind to anything else except what they've been told again and again. It's like a child that's told that Santa Claus is real. At what point do you say, you're 17 years old? Santa might not be real. Anyway, I love Mark Warner's, Mark Warner was all over the media when all this has happened. This is a full-blown national security risk. We have to do something. The Russians are coming. Mark Warner, Democrat.
Yeah. $175,000. Yeah. And that's enough to throw the whole election.
And it cost Hillary the election.
Yeah.
She lost because she was a bad candidate. Exactly. She lost because she had bad handlers. She lost to a total idiot, Trump. And in that loss created the worst division and the worst political dysfunction this country's ever seen because she let that guy into the presidential office.